Here is how we gamified a podcaster's social media promotions and increased his downloads by 50% even when his guest refused to promote the episode. So this is proof. Kevin made a post on social media, had tons of engagement, people engaged and saying how they liked it because we gamified his promotions. I'm going to walk you through that in just a moment. So here's the issue that he really faced. He was always able to land big guests. That was never a problem, but he didn't know how to get them to promote. He could never get them to promote. And even when they did promote, listeners rarely ever came. And this is a situation that so many podcasters find themselves in, where you rely on big guests, you finally get the big guest. Even when they do promote, their listeners don't come. So how the hell are you going to grow your audience? How the hell are you going to break past slow and steady growth when your guests themselves aren't even promoting the episode? He was left constantly promoting to the same audience on Instagram and Facebook. So this made it very hard, basically impossible for him to reach new listeners. For yourself, if you're promoting on social media, think about it. You're basically promoting to the exact same crowd every single time. That does not allow you to reach a new audience. And Kevin struggled with the exact same thing. So the question is, how can we leverage a big guest name even when they don't promote? How can we turn more strangers online into active listeners of your podcast? And how can you get your show consistently exposed to new audiences who are far more likely to engage with your content? So look, before I dive into all of that, my name is Anthony Ranieri. I'm the co-founder of GetMoreListeners.com, a company providing personalized guidance to education-based podcasters, business owners, coaches, experts in their fields, turn a slow growth podcast into a rapidly growing positive ROI show really within 6 months. Over the last 4 years, we've interviewed and coached over 350 plus podcasters, and I'm also the co-host of Why Your Podcast Isn't Growing, which generates around $10,000 of attributed sales each and every month. And I'm also the co-founder of the leading podcast and book brand on Amazon under the pen name Daniel Larson. So if you recognize those books, know that Daniel Larson is a pen name. But again, this isn't really about me, it's about you. So here's the solution. Number 1, land a high-profile guest. Number 2, find a fan community or a community that's related to the guest. And what you want to do here again is think about, if you have a big name, let's say you had Tim Ferriss as an example. Find communities where Tim Ferriss's name is very popular, very well known. Think about maybe Facebook groups where you have, where it's all about personal development or about focus or about minimalism, whatever that might be. Whatever community you believe is going to be related to your guest, that's the community you want to join. And maybe Tim Ferriss might have a fan page community, which would be perfect. Then you want to let the community know when you have an interview lined up with the guest. Right? So this is the first post you make. And this is basically a way to kind of announce what's going on, let people know that, hey, I'm really excited, I'm going to be interviewing this person, but you're not promoting, right? It's very subtle. And again, you're not promoting. What this will do, if you're posting the right relevant content and announcing this in the right communities, people will engage with your content. This drives engagement, starts conversations, whilst at the same time building awareness around your podcast without you having to actively promote. No one wants to be that guy promoting if it's not a community. In my community, I promote all day and all night. I don't get it right, but that's my community. If you're joining someone else's community, you have to be mindful. You can't just post promotional pieces. It needs to be relevant for the members. Step 4. So 2 days before the interview takes place, you want to make another post. You want to let the community know that the interview is happening, number 1. Number 2, you want to ask the community specific questions of what they would like you to ask. So specific questions that they would like to ask. And then you want to gamify this. So you want to make them know that the top 2 comments with the highest likes and engagements will be the question asked in the segment of the podcast. So you see what we're doing here? We're gamifying the process and making it more fun. We're basically setting up a competition and allowing the members in the community who we know like the guests, we're having them engage with our content. And again, we're building awareness in this process. So this action builds more interest and awareness about your podcast and gamifies the post. You're basically creating a competition, right? This drives more engagement, boosting the post to reach new members in the community. So more and more members are going to see the post in the community, right? This creates a positive feedback loop where the more people engage, the more people are invested. The more people are invested, the more they become aware of your show. And all of this is happening without you having to constantly promote the show. And again, this is like a low-key way of promoting the show without promoting the show. So when the episode launches, you then make a post thanking everyone who engaged. You let them know the episode is live and you drop a trackable link in the comment section or within the post itself. And this trackable link can be something like tiny URL. You want to track the engagement, how many people are clicking based off your post to really track the success of this. You don't want to just do this and hope that's working. You want to know how many people are actually clicking and going onto the specific episode. You also want to add everyone who engaged of your previous posts, right? So add them as a friend if it's on Facebook and tag them in the main post when you're announcing the launch of the episode. So anyone who liked, shared, or left a comment, literally any piece of type of engagement, if they reached out to you, doesn't matter. You want to tag them. Since they engaged, it basically means that they're interested. They've qualified themselves as being someone who's more than interested. They're not just a standby person. They're actively invested in this. So you tagging them guarantees they actually see the episode. Step 6, and it's the final part. You want to reach out to the members who engaged 2 days after, asking for feedback on the episode. This is a great way to ensure that they are all aware that episode is out, and it acts as a non-salesy reminder, right? And it also means you're able to get direct feedback from people who have listened. So a portion of people wouldn't have listened, and that's completely fine. Now they're aware about the episode, and you've given them a little bump, friendly reminder. But those who have listened can give you direct feedback. Now, most of our clients aren't doing this active work themselves. They'll delegate it to a team member or a VA. So if you have an assistant, if you've got a team member, just delegate this to them. If you're not in that situation just yet, that's totally fine. Just take some time, maybe 15, 20 minutes during your day to reach out to these members, and that's totally fine as well. The point here is we want to be proactive rather than just hoping people listen. They've already shown interest, so let's make sure they get the episode, right? So it's a real life example. So there's a client called Kevin. He made the first initial post, had tons of engagements, and then he makes an announcement post. So he's just announcing the competition, saying, hey, everyone in this specific group, I'm interviewing Matt very soon. Super excited about this. However, I want to find the way to get this group and community part of the episode. I will take the top 2 comments based on likes and reactions and ask them to Matty during the podcast. So if you have any questions, take it away. Best of luck, everyone. Again, gamifying the process. And what does he have? Tons of engagement. And again, honestly, it's so exciting, right? The next thing is we then have the engagement piece, right? So tons of people start engaging and other people are liking these questions. Guess what happens? This gets boosted. Other people leaving all their other comments. And again, this is the competition we're creating. We're gamifying the process. Super, super, super important. For context, Kevin's podcast was about music. We could do this about within any niche, right? It's just leveraging human psychology, using competition, gamifying the process, and also playing the algorithm, right? This is a great way to play the algorithm as well. Then, of course, we have the actual episode launch, plus competition and winner announcement, right? So what we've got here is essentially Kevin now announcing to everyone, saying, hey, thanks everyone who submitted the questions for Matt. Here are the winners. And here's, again, tiny URL. This is trackable link. So he knows that people are engaging. He can track whether it's worked or not. And then, of course, he gets even more engagement of people saying, hey, wow, this is awesome. Thank you so much for picking me as a winner. I love the episode. Great snippets. Looking forward to watching it. Again, you see, this gets the community engaged, right? So why does it actually work so well? Now, for me, this works so well because number one, we're constantly leveraging online communities where our target audience are. Number two, we're building awareness around our podcast without being salesy or pushy. Kevin set up his profile, which I'll show you here. So this is Kevin's Facebook profile. He set it up in a way, would you look at that trackable URL link, again, tracking to see the engagement. So set this up in a way where people will, because he's not being pushy and overly promoting, he's not promoting at all really. He's just letting people know what's going on and getting people engaged. People will naturally just go to Kevin's profile and say, what the hell, Kevin's interviewing this person, who's Kevin? And then they see Corporate Progression Podcast, they see whatever the name of your podcast is, insert this here. And you should have this as well as a banner. I think this is a very easy setup. And then of course, he mentions the podcast again in his intro, and he's optimized his profile to kind of act as a funnel for his podcast, right? And the other reason is we can consistently do this based on the big names that you get on the show. You're leveraging their fame, their authority to get people engaging with your content. And again, it doesn't feel salesy, it doesn't feel pushy. You're giving people an opportunity that they otherwise would not have had. And that's why this works so well, right? What are the results, right? We get more exposure for a show. We increase awareness of his podcast. More people listen to his show now more than ever before. Tapped into an audience that didn't know his podcast existed before. He increased his actual downloads for that particular episode by 50%. So for a quick maths, if it was 100 downloads an average he would get, he got 150 downloads for that particular episode. And a thankful community who actually loves getting involved and who love Kevin for providing them an opportunity to engage with his show. This is why this works so well. And that is how we can leverage a big guest name, even when they don't promote, how we can turn more strangers online into listeners of your podcast, and how you can consistently get your show exposed to new audiences who are more likely to engage with your content. So like I mentioned, my name is Anthony Maneri. You've been absolutely fantastic. If you like what you saw and you want to find out a little bit more, if you're open to explore new ways of growing your podcast, you want to find out a bit more about what we do, check out the first link in the description. Yes, it's a sales pitch. We're going to tell this every single time. It's the whole point is to get you booked on a calendar to walk you through our 4-step growth and retention system. Now, if you didn't resonate with it, that's totally cool. That's completely fine. And if you want just some free resources along the way, be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. And peace.